Good evening. We're home. Home in the house that God gave us. Home in the house that Ryan has worked so hard to make safe for our family with the help of our family and friends. And it just feels so good to be home. Right now, Madison is sleeping and May is coming in and out wanting me to sleep on the floor. And Harrison, I think, is passed out. So I'm going to try to get through this video blog, but I'm just warning you, I may have a few kids coming in and out. The last 6 months has been a ride. And when I'm thinking about just what's all happened, I'm just so blessed and thanked for the opportunity that we've been given. And I know you're going to think, what opportunity? It's been an opportunity to see God work, and we've had front row seats to everything that has been happening to us the last 6 months. And I'm just so blessed to, one, be home today, 6 months later, with a baby that no longer has MDS monosomy 7, but also blessed that God allowed us to see that He's still in the miracle business. And we have had that front row seat to God's love and to God's strength and to God's healing and to God's grace. And for that, I am forever changed and I'm forever grateful. My favorite Bible verse to kind of wrap up just kind of what's happened so far the last 6 months is Isaiah 64:8. It says, "Yet you, Lord, are our Father. We are the clay, and you are the potter. We are all the work of your hand." And that's what God's been doing the last 6 months, is not only have we been watching Him do these awesome things, but He's also been changing so much about who we are and also those around us, other people's situations. And we're blessed and honored to be, where we are. And we're blessed and honored that, God gave His Son and, for us so we could spend eternity in heaven. I thought I would be crying but I'm not. I am so happy to be home. Okay, maybe I am going to cry. I thought I got all those tears out on our way home. The last 6 months when we have seen God work, not all stories end like ours, is, on the path that ours is going to. Some kids never get rid of the cancer. They never get rid of the diseases. And in some situations, God calls them home. And I'm very thankful that God has let us keep Madison and that He's healed her. And that's been part of His plan. And I'm also thankful that the Lindsay that left 6 months ago is not the same Lindsay that's here today. And I pray that God continues to work in me and around me, and that I don't get distracted by the busyness of life, and that I keep the focus and, just the focus on God that I have now. I have always been one speed, which is at least 80 miles per hour. And the last 6 months, I've had to slow down, and I love it. And I have learned to appreciate things that I didn't even realize that I was taking for granted. And so the next 6 months is all going to be about maintaining what God has done, and the way He has shaped us. And then also just continuing to let Him work in me and around me and all the situations that come our way. I shared in my blog kind of what's next for Madison. She's still in isolation, and really what that means for all of our friends is that, we just don't have visitors. It's just way too risky with the flu season. Immediate family can come and visit Madison, but they too have to be on isolation, which means they have to stay home for 24 to 48 hours before they can come and see Madison. And that's just for her safety. And we start next week with tons of therapists coming in to evaluate her to see kind of where we're at, what chemo has done, if anything. Developmentally, she's behind, which is typical. Surprisingly, the teacher in me isn't too worried yet. I know that she'll do fine, and she's already made leaps and bounds just by being with Harrison and Mabry. And just a lot of therapy. Like next week, there's not one free day, so it's just busy. And then we're still in clinic on Mondays and Thursdays. Part of having her home that we worry about is obviously if there was a major emergency and getting her to the hospital in Cardinal Glennon the fastest way we can. And we've just been blessed with having Mike Saucy, who works for Aerovac, and John Inglejohn, like everybody, our coordinates of our house, all that stuff's already figured out. So it's just keeping her at home and keeping her safe, and the less germs and all that stuff that she's exposed to, the better. So we will be on lockdown except for when we're in clinic, and then when our therapists come in, they'll wear gowns and all that fun stuff. So that's what's kind of going on with Maddie. Pretty much from next week on. This weekend, we are going to enjoy being home, and it's going to feel like vacation. And we have nowhere to go, nothing to do, and we're just going to be in our home together. I am going to continue to do my blog because God's called me to do it, and I'm going to continue to do it until He tells me that I don't need to do it anymore, or He has another project for me. This blog's never had a timeline, except for it's on God's time. So whenever He asks me not to do it, then I'll stop doing it. One thing I want you guys to think about as you guys go into the weekend is, what is one way that you can slow down? What is one thing in your life that maybe you could get rid of? That way God can work more in you to where you can become the clay and He is the potter. I know with me personally, I was always so busy that there wasn't time for God to really work or change really anything, because I had every second accounted for. So just that time where you free up for God, allow Him to use you and to guide you. And, maybe that's just your devotion time, or just saying, okay, for 5 hours, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to kind of do whatever God calls me to do. So it's kind of my question for you. Is there something that in your life that maybe you could free up to give to God, in your time? And some of you are already on it. You've given up all of your time to God, and that's what you do. Others of you are guilty like I am, where you just get so busy with life that you don't know which direction is which. So as you guys go into the weekend, I hope you enjoy it and spend a great time with your family. And again, thank you for loving us through the last 6 months. And I know that we could not have done it without God and without all of your prayers through the last 6 months. So God bless you and have a wonderful weekend. Love you.